Imagine this. Your project just failed. Not maybe failed. Not might fail. It failed completely. And it's already over. Now ask yourself one question. Why did it fail? That's the entire idea behind a pre-mortem analysis. And it might be one of the most powerful tools you're not using yet. We're all familiar with the post-mortem. Something goes wrong, and afterward, everyone gathers to figure out what happened. But by then, it's too late. The damage is done. The pre-mortem flips this around completely. Instead of waiting for failure to happen and then analyzing it, you imagine the failure before it ever occurs. You travel forward in time, mentally, to a future where things went badly, and then you work backward to figure out why. This idea was popularized by psychologist Gary Klein, and it works because of something strange about how our brains handle certainty. When we're told a project will succeed, our brains stay open, hopeful, and a little unfocused. We don't dig too hard for problems because we're busy imagining success. But when we're told a project has already failed, something shifts. Our brain stops debating whether something could go wrong and starts explaining why it did go wrong. This is called prospective hindsight, and it unlocks a level of honest thinking that positive planning simply can't reach. So how do you actually run a pre-mortem? Step 1. Gather the people involved in the project. This works best with a team because different people notice different risks. Step 2. Set the scene. Tell everyone it's 6 months from now, or however far out fits your timeline, and the project has failed. Not partially failed, not slightly behind schedule, completely failed. Step 3. Give everyone a few minutes to write down, individually and silently, every reason they can think of for why it failed. Silence and individual writing matter here, because group discussion too early can lead people to just agree with the loudest voice in the room. You want raw, honest, independent thinking first. Step 4. Go around the room and have everyone share their reasons, one at a time. Write all of them down, no matter how small or strange they seem. Step 5. Look for patterns. Some reasons will repeat across different people. Those repeated concerns are usually your biggest real risks, the ones hiding in plain sight that nobody wanted to say out loud in a normal planning meeting. Step 6. For each major risk identified, decide what you can do right now before the project even starts to prevent it or reduce its impact. That's the whole process. Simple to run, but surprisingly deep in what it reveals. Let's look at why this works so well in practice. First, it removes the social pressure of appearing negative. In most planning meetings, if someone raises doubts, they risk looking pessimistic, unsupportive, or not a team player. But in a pre-mortem, doubt isn't just welcomed, it's the entire point of the exercise. Everyone is expected to find problems, so no one feels like the odd one out for speaking up. Second, it uncovers risks that optimism usually hides. When we plan for success, we often only imagine one path forward, the smooth one. A pre-mortem forces you to imagine multiple paths, especially the rocky ones, and that gives you a much more complete picture of what could actually happen. Third, it turns abstract worry into concrete action. Instead of a vague feeling that something might go wrong, you end up with a specific list of causes and a plan to address each one. That shift from anxiety to action is often the biggest benefit of all. Let's walk through a quick example. Say a company is about to launch a new app. In a traditional meeting, someone might ask, "Do we think this will succeed?" And most people will nod along. In a pre-mortem, the question changes. It's launch day, 6 months from now, and the app has failed. Why? Suddenly, Answers start pouring out. Maybe the onboarding was too confusing and users dropped off in the first minute. Maybe the marketing budget ran out before the app gained traction. Maybe a competitor launched a similar feature first. Maybe the servers crashed under real-world traffic that testing never simulated. Maybe the team underestimated how long approval from an app store would take. None of these are guesses about the future. They're specific, plausible stories about failure, and each one points to a clear action. Simplify onboarding, extend the marketing runway, study competitors more closely before launch, stress test the servers properly, build in extra time for approval delays. This is the real power of the exercise. It doesn't just list fears, it produces a checklist. Pre-mortems aren't only for big corporate projects either. You can use this thinking for almost anything. Planning a wedding. Imagine it's over, and it was a disaster. Why? Starting a small business. Imagine it closed within a year. Why? Even personal goals, like getting fit or finishing a big personal project, benefit from asking, imagine I gave up after 2 weeks. Why did that happen? A few tips to make your own pre-mortem more effective. Make the failure specific and vivid. Don't just say the project failed. Say, we launched 3 months late, over budget, and lost our biggest client. Specific failures generate specific, useful answers. Encourage wild ideas, even ones that seem unlikely. Sometimes the strangest possible failure reveals a blind spot nobody considered. Don't stop at listing problems. Always follow up by assigning an owner and an action to each risk you take seriously. A pre-mortem without follow-through is just a very organized worry session. And finally, revisit it. As your project evolves, some risks will fade and new ones will appear. Running a quick pre-mortem again partway through can catch problems your original session missed. In the end, avoiding a bad outcome isn't about being pessimistic. It's about being prepared. The pre-mortem gives you permission to imagine the worst, not so you'll be afraid of it, but so you can build a plan strong enough to prevent it. Before you start your next big decision, project, or goal, take a moment. Imagine it already failed. Then ask why. The answers might just save you from living through that failure for real.